Hey, what's going on, YouTube? I want to show you guys this. Yeah, I know it's broken. I didn't have the inverted torques to take it apart, so I just ripped it apart with a snappy screwdriver. Alright, so there's no microphone in there, there's no camera in there, there's nothing in there. Just like I thought there wasn't going to be anything in there. I was actually pretty upset when I had seen that Alex Jones had left that on InfoWars.com, because I tell a lot of people to go look at InfoWars.com. Now they're going to go there, they see that, and then they try to find out if it's true, and they find out it's a lie. You know, how much other stuff is a lie. Alex Jones, I don't know, he's in it to make, you know, he makes a buck. You know, he definitely does good. He tells a lot of truth. You know, 95% of what he says is right on the money and it's accurate. Uh, Even some people, the whole Y2K thing, when they say that he lied about all that, well, he didn't lie. You know, when Y2K happened, I was working at Stratus Computer Company in Westboro. It was actually just went from Stratus to Ascend and then to Lucent Technologies. And we had to go around and add software on all the computers and put a little sticker on the computer that said, you know, Y2K ready. Alright, some of you people may remember this. If you worked in other, like IBM or stuff like that, they had to do the similar thing. It was a big scam to make money, alright? But there was still problems. Nuclear power plants, they did power down on Y2K. You can go research it. There was a problem with stuff in Japan. You know, they had problems, you know, not like big problems, but there were small problems. You can go research it. A lot of places shut down. There were a lot of electrical problems and stuff like that. Not major like it was made out to be. All right, not like the world is shutting down. Not like we're being attacked. But it did happen. All right. He just likes to jazz it up and give it a little bit of juice so it sounds better, and he gets his audience. And if you're one of those people that goes on there and you listen to Alex Jones and you believe everything he says and you don't go research it, you're a freaking moron, alright? You got something wrong with you. Don't believe anything anybody tells you. Go research it for yourself, alright? You have to go look into everything and decide for yourself. Take all the facts, all the information, look at it. Look through it thoroughly. You know, look at it 4 or 5 times. Wait a week or two. Go back to it. And then make a decision on what you feel. You can't just take what somebody says and say, that's it, that's what's going to happen. Because then you're an idiot. You're not looking at it for yourself, alright? Oh, boy. I guess the best way to put it would be like, myself, if I want to know something and somebody tells me, say someone says, someone starts talking about 9/11. They're like, oh, well, you know, this happened or that happened. I say, well, why do you think that? Well, because, you know, I saw this on the news, or because so-and-so told me. If you ask someone why they believe something, you'll find most times they can't give you solid backing on why they believe that. They just believe it because somebody else told them and it sounded reasonable to them. It made more sense than what they had previously thought. But they never went in to go research it to find out if there was actual a lot of facts and a lot of evidence to point it towards that. Or you can't just believe what other people believe. You got to look at it and decide for yourself. And that happens more often than not when I get into conversations with people and I say, well, why do you think that? And they say, well, just because that everybody knows that. Well, no, not because. Not just everybody knows that. You know what? It wasn't too long ago everybody knew the world was flat too. You know, and people get kind of pissed when you say that. It's kind of like a slap in the face, like, hey, you know, wake up, man. You know, we're not the smartest time ever. You know, they thought they were the smartest time back then too. You know, future will progress. We will learn more. Um, when you start talking to things about people, right? You got to give them truth. You can't give them far out their truth. You can't say that Satan's ruling the world. You know, I like End-Time Watchman. I watch all his videos. You know, he's definitely turned me on to the religion and stuff like that. But when I go talk to people, I find it hard to get into that with them. Because a lot of people, they just back out real quick. They don't want to hear it. They think you're some crazy religious nut. Or if you start talking about, like, conspiracy stuff, like, even if you get into it with 9/11, people start backing out, and they're like, well, this guy's a conspiracy nut. But if you start telling people about the Federal Reserve being a private bank, or you start telling people about the Baltic Dry Index, or you start talking about the fractional reserve banking, or the inflation, and why everything costs so much, why since 1970 to now has everything increased in price, and how it's going to increase in price when this bailout money hits, and about how they don't burn the money. Like, everyone has it in their head, well, they can print more money because they just burn the old money, but it doesn't make any sense. And once you explain it to them and they start to see it, that how it all works, and I'm not going to go through it because everybody watching these videos probably knows already. And if you don't know, go research fractional reserve banking. Go into my favorites. There's a great video about the Federal Reserve. But you got to start telling people about that stuff. That's the stuff that clicks them on. You've got to click them on first. You know what I'm saying? You got to get them looking. And now everybody's looking because everybody's being robbed. It's even on the news. That poor 70-year-old guy that saved up $750,000 so him and his wife, who was sick, could live while he had a business, live the American dream, and he got robbed by that Madoff puke that's still walking around in the streets. The Patriot Hour said it best: pukes in a suit. That's what they all are. They're pukes in a suits. I'd like to go punch them in their face too. They piss me off. I couldn't believe it when I saw that old man. There's probably thousands of stories like that all across the nation. People getting robbed, getting taken advantage of, being led into false hope. It disgusts me. It makes me upset. It makes me bullshit. And I can't wait until the masses of people storm these freaking buildings and rip them out, because I want a phone call, because I'll be there too. I'll be one of the first ones through the door. I've had enough of this crap, and I'm sure a lot of people have too. If this were 150 years ago, alright, they would have dragged these people outside and stoned them. They would have threw rocks at them and vegetables. They would have beat them down. They would have bolted them in one of those things. I'm so pissed I can't even think of the name of it now, in the middle of town. And they would have thrown tomatoes at them in day. And then at night, the people that were pissed would have went there and beat the crap out of them and kick them till they fucking die. And that's what these people deserve. Excuse my language, but I'm just getting a little upset here. Because if you have a family, I understand you have to protect your family, and that's number one. For me, my parents and my girlfriend and my brother, they're my number one. I watch out for them, when the shit hits the fan. But, there's got to be the people that are going to rip these people out of their houses, I mean, my girl's just as pissed. My family's just as pissed. Is your family just as pissed? If you have little kids, you can't send them in. But if you got teenagers, I'm sure they're pissed too, because they're going to be paying for this, man. This is not ever going to stop. This is not just going to go away. We're either sitting here waiting for a false flag attack so that something major can happen, or we're just slowly creeping into financial disaster. And I think we're making a difference. I think we're stopping them a little bit. I think they haven't pulled a false flag attack yet, just because people are so aware. It's like everybody's waiting for it. Everyone's waiting for something to happen. And I guarantee you, when something does happen this time, it ain't going to be like 9/11. They're not going to slip up. There probably will be no mistakes. It will be clean. It will be hard to find the truth behind that.